What a dominant performance.
Yeah, you looked at Oregon, and you talk about a team that looks the part with 3 7-footers or 6'11" to 7 feet guys, and the number 0 in them. I have always kind of trouble pronouncing the name. Nafalu. Anyway, 7-footer, and he was the only thing that kept Oregon even remotely in the game.
Yeah.
He was getting a lot of offensive rebounds and putbacks, and but without him, A&M wins this game by 30 points, I think, because it was almost a mismatch in the backcourt.
Yeah,
A&M was just playing so well. They didn't have to rely on a lot of 3-pointers, which was almost surprising to me. But they were just faster than Oregon, and Oregon kind of melted under the defensive pressure. Really, the only thing Oregon really had going for them was getting rebounds and putting back, and yet A&M still outscored them in the paint and out-rebounded them.
Out-rebounded them, outscored them in the paint. They were just the better team. They were just and they're a team that is playing better basketball than most of the country, and that just goes beyond what they've done in the last 10 games. I'm saying when you watch them play, there's a confidence to that offense when they get going. Defensively, they can stop anybody. They can play the lanes. They can play square up. They can change. Oregon had a little success when they were changing their defense on A&M, and they were able to navigate through that as well.
Yeah, and there's like, okay, this is what they're doing. All right, now we need to adjust to the adjustment. One of the things that is so interesting about what Buzz Williams is doing with them, we all saw that they brought in the 10-game stretch here where they've been so successful. They brought Quentin Jackson and Boots Radford in a half-court situation to play point guard, but they kind of alternated. So when you come down the court, you're not exactly sure where your guy is. Well, now Manny Obaseki is in that mix doing the same thing. So you got 3 guys, and when they're bringing it up, nobody knows. All right, is my guy going to be out on the wing? Is he going to be at the point? Is he going to be, high post around the elbow? And I think they create confusion. And then they're also athletic that if you are a step out of place or a step slow, they're going by you.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. It was fun to watch them, and what I liked more than anything was just that they got solid contributions throughout the entire starting lineup, right? Everybody out there, that starting 5. Q did his thing as he normally does. I think he had 17. Boots was, 2 points shy of a double-double, had 8 points, 11 rebounds. Henry Coleman did his thing. Wade did his thing. And we already talked about Manny Obaseki, who was just really – he is starting to figure things out.
And guys came off the bench and, were just solid off the bench. They did They played their roles pretty well. I'm thinking of Javonte Brown came in and, the 7'1" freshman that doesn't play a whole lot. I think he's a freshman. I guess I should double check on that. But he came in and just banged around a little bit with the big guys and got a couple rebounds in there. I think he had a basket. So
he had a dunk, didn't he? Or am I?
Well, I thought it was a dunk, but then when they replayed it, he kind of dropped it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, if you want to be a part of the conversation, call us up on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150, or you can text us on the AMB text line, 979-693-1150. AMB, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas banking. The website is anb.com. Let's go around the room and say hello. We go behind the glass. Sam Kamen, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Excellent.
Doing well. How are you doing today?
Hey, it's a great day to be an Aggie, It was a fun weekend to watch all Aggie sports, all across the board, no matter if it was on the diamond, on the court, on the outdoor court. Aggies were doing their thing everywhere.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for sure. And what is fun, but also sometimes who do you pay attention to is when they're both going on at the same time. You're trying to figure out, do I watch the baseball game right now? Do I watch the basketball? Do I go back and forth? Multiple TVs. Not all of us are Olin Buchanan with 9 TVs in our living room. Is that not you?
No, that's not me. I have one big one.
No.
Yeah.
Can you split screen it?
I can, but I don't
think
know
people
how.
do that anymore.
My son can do it, but I can't. I was like, what? It seems like, was baseball and basketball going on about the same time?
No, because basketball on Saturday was 11, baseball was later. No.
So I guess I didn't have a problem with it. But I can remember going on my computer and keeping up with Hop and Richard Zane, the thread, so I knew
that
what
helps.
was going
And
on.
that's one of the great advantages if you're a premium subscriber to go to TexAgs.com during a game. You can feel like you're caught up real quick, just a quick glance.
Oh, I know what it was. It was yesterday because I was really interested in March Madness.
Yeah.
So, I didn't want to keep having to go back to the SEC network. So I had my laptop in my lap.
Yeah.
And I was keeping up with the game. And then when there was a stoppage of play, I would switch over to the SEC network and try to watch the game.
Well, I think Tom Hart might be on the A&M payroll because he was at the NIT game. He was then flew out or drove out to Baton Rouge and was at the baseball game. He's working overtime. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Tomas Romo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, David. How you guys doing this morning?
We're doing well. How are you?
I still haven't got my coffee yet. Just waking up. The weather got me a little bit this morning, but what a great weekend for A&M. Not only baseball, basketball. I know Sam touched on. I know you guys as well. But some other headlines: softball dropped series finale with Florida. Texas A&M softball team suffered 11-3 6-inning setback to number 5 Florida on Sunday. The bright spot was senior All-American Haley Lee, who launched her 6th long ball of the year and the first allowed by Florida's Elizabeth Hightower all season.
What an atmosphere, by the way, around that area, because you had the Reed Arena was popping with the game. Across the way, you had softball going on. And then I did the Tough Mudder this weekend, and we all parked at Reed Arena and took a shuttle out to wherever it was. And, it was just
Was it fun?
It was. I injured my shoulder a little bit, but it was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't hard. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to the event itself. I figured like climbing some of those obstacles would kind of give me some chills, and it wasn't. You just in the moment you go. It was fun.
Good.
Yeah.
I would have vomited.
No, you would have been fine. I think you could have done it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe next time.
I decided to do it the night before. I had gone back and forth about doing it. I was like, I don't know. A&M's playing at 11. I got this going on. I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it.
Oh, excellent.
What else, Tomas, do you have for us?
Aggie sweep attempt at number 8 LSU comes up short. Texas A&M came up 1 run short in a comeback attempt to register the road sweep at LSU. LSU scored the winning run in the bottom of the 8th inning of the Aggies' 7-6 loss on Sunday. Aggies will return to action on Tuesday as they travel to Houston for a 7 p.m. game against the Rice Owls.
Now, I didn't see it, but it's my understanding from following the thread that there was a very close play on a A&M double play that would have got them out of a big inning, and they even reviewed it and first called it a double play and reversed it. So that's how close maybe A&M was to sweeping that series.
You know what, though? After some of the issues we've seen this year where they've blown games and whatnot, to go to Baton Rouge under any circumstance.
Just win series.
Win a series. Just start getting these series. And I really believe tomorrow is important as well, because you've dropped a couple of midweek games that you were kind of banking on. You made up some ground there with the LSU, 2 of 3 there. When the Rice one, winning 3 of 4, you're feeling pretty good about where you are. And this is off the heels of a bad loss to the University of Houston. Tomas, anything else, my friend?
Dalen Tabor says, Oregon had the hype, but the Farmers brought the fight. Go Ags.
Go Ags. Thank you very much, Dale and Tabor, there on the A&B text line. All right, when we come back, who brought the heat? I got a couple names for you. I know OB will have one for you as well. Again, you can be a part of the conversation by calling us up. 979-693-1150 is the number you should call to be a part of the conversation. Right now, I want to talk about Christine Engler, the Aggie loan expert, class of 97. You can find her at AggieLoanExpert.com. She and her husband, they're great Aggies out here. After graduation, he went and joined the Army, and Christine has navigated through not only being a mom, a wife, but also this incredible business that she has there, bringing you the best mortgage rates possible out there. And right now, if you go to AggieLoanExpert.com, you can find out all of these great advantages that they have out there. How are you supposed to get by with everything costing so much? We've talked about gas costing much, but everything else is affected by it. Milk, everything, yada, yada, yada. So why not look into an investigation or investigate the chances to get a mortgage rate at the lowest possible rate? You can get an easy refinance as well. On average, your client saved $350 per month last year. Start saving today. Apply online for your easy refinance at AggieLoanExpert.com. Terms and conditions do apply. Christine Engler, Aggie Loan Expert, NMLS number 1309378, company NMLS number 1324641, Equal Housing Opportunity.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. With an easy refinance, save over $350 a month. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. You're invited to the Second Wave Revolutionary Women of Color. The 2-day event at Texas A&M is this Thursday and Friday. Find more information at tx.ag/Second Wave Conference. The United Way of the Brazos Valley's Youth Leadership Cabinet has opened applications for the Community Builders Grant. Applications are due by Friday. To apply, go online to uwbv.org. The Brazos County Master Gardener Spring Plant Sale is this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Brazos County Extension Office. Bring your wagon and load up. Join the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History on Saturday, April 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for Wildflower Day at Boonville Heritage Park. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Hippity hop to the George Bush Presidential Library and Museum on Saturday, April 9th for the annual Easter celebration. The event will begin at 9:30 a.m. and include an Easter egg hunt, egg roll, egg toss, carnival games, face painting, kite flying, door prizes, balloon animals, complimentary refreshments, and photos with the Easter Bunny. The free event will be available for children age 7 and under. For more information, visit bush41.org.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Texas Army National Guard. Aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Everybody deserves a second chance, and when we're talking about your brackets, I know you do. Zone Madness, presented by Aggieland Green, has a second chance bracket contest. Play now at zone1150.com. Enjoy a thick green, weed-free lawn from Aggieland Green, proudly serving College Station and Bryan for more than a decade. Play our second chance bracket contest. Zone Madness, presented by Aggieland Green. Play now at zone1150.com.
Call me from Miami. Miami. What took you
Miami.
so long? I thought you never.
It's a good song.
Miami.
They did bring it to Auburn.
They did. I was shocked that that Auburn was just blown out. Just almost as shocked as I was that Tennessee lost and had an 11-point lead and blew it.
How about the SEC overall?
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I think we have to acknowledge that the best basketball conference, without a doubt, is the Big 12 based on the success they're having in the tournament.
Yeah, but Baylor dropped too.
Baylor did, but TCU might have been they were probably a non-call away. I don't know if you watched that game.
That was a ridiculous ending.
Yeah. I thought Mike Miles, I think his name is, I thought he was going to the free throw line with 5 or 6 seconds to go.
It's
less than
either
that.
For no call to be made and then the basket to come late. It was comedy of errors. It was either a back court or a foul. It's a foul.
It had to be something.
But it was absolutely a foul, though. And then, could you imagine how they lost on that dunk, though?
That would have been tough. But it's tough to lose in overtime. We had opportunities then. So but Iowa State.
I was reminded of how bad they were in 2020. I think they won 2 games.
Iowa State?
Yeah.
And then they go out and who did I knock off? Wisconsin?
Yeah.
So, of course, Kansas is still playing. Texas Tech. Texas even had a good showing against Purdue.
Yeah, they did. They did have a good showing, but they're done. Sorry,
they're done.
Yeah.
I was actually rooting for TCU.
I like that big guy in the middle.
Yeah,
I like the way he plays.
Lampkin or something.
Yeah,
like
Lampkin.
that.
Yeah.
But I've asked this question before, and what teams from the old Big 12 or in the state of Texas and in the SEC am I allowed to root for? Because I've said this before, Aggies seem to hate everybody.
Yeah. Hey, you just don't root for A&M, and then it makes life easy.
But when they're not in the tournament,
Doesn't matter. You want
I mean,
lose.
do I get a pass to root for Texas Tech?
Nope.
Do I get a pass to root for UH?
Nope. Can't root for him either. I like Kelvin Sampson, but now, no.
And I couldn't, I didn't get a pass for TCU.
Maybe U of H a little bit because how long has it been since A&M has, played U of H in football or anything? Like, it's not, we're talking Old Southwest Conference. I think the Big 12 teams are still too fresh.
Fresh.
Yeah, like I don't care about Rice as much or U of H as
Well,
much.
I'm not losing any sleep over them losing, but
Yeah.
when I'm watching, I'm kind of rooting for TCU there.
Yeah. TCU I don't find as much of a threat either. If you want to be a part of the conversation, call us up, 979-693-1150. That's the BCSI hotline, or you can text us on the A&B text line. All right, OB, who brought the heat this weekend?
Well, I'm going with Manny Obaseki.
I knew you were going to go there.
Well, okay. Well,
Sorry, you
I
can
could
keep
go
it.
to Quinn.
No, keep it.
He just, how we always talk about they need that one extra guy.
Yeah.
And he was the guy that really came through. He scored, I think, 11, maybe 12 points. I can't remember exactly, but he just made plays.
His athleticism
is off the chart. And he's starting to feel more comfortable, it appears. And what really stood out to me was when Oregon made a mini rally to try to make it, maybe you think, okay, this might turn into a game. They pulled within 8 with about 13 minutes to go, and Obaseki drives and spins around a guy in the lane and scores and gets fouled and hits the 3-point, converts 3-point play. And that starts a run, like a 9-2 run, because then right after that, it was Wade Taylor hits a 3, and then Henry Coleman gets an and one. They had like 4 and ones in the second half.
Yeah.
But it started with Obaseki making that play. It wasn't an easy play. Again, he's driving, he spins around a guy, draws the foul, gets the layup. And that's like, it was an answer to Oregon's, I know Oregon was feeling like, okay, this is our chance. We just pulled within 8, and then a guy makes a play like that. And they came down and did get a dunk, but then, like I said, the 3-pointer and then the 3-point play. And then from there, it was just a matter of, letting the time run out.
I'm going to go with Dylan Rock. He hit 429 this weekend.
And he did bring it.
He did bring it. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 6 hits. Game 3, 2 of 4 with a homer. I know they lost. Game 2, 2 of 5. And then game 1, 2 of 5 with a home run and an RBI. So just a big weekend for him. He brought it 6 of 14 overall, helping the Aggies win that series against LSU. All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break here because we're going to get Buzz Williams on a little earlier. We're going to have him at right around 8:30 or so. But right now I want to talk about the Association of Former Students. They've been around for a long time, 140 years. Your financial gifts have empowered them to be here, there, and everywhere, and they've done it for so many different types of organizations around the world: scholarships, student assistance programs, Aggie Band, Silver Taps, Ring Day, class reunions, Mustard Tailgate, Traveling Aggies. That's what the association does. They do it, and they've done it for a long time with your help, by the way. But the why, it's you, all right? Go to IamTheWhy.com. There's where these stories are, stories of people just like you, where the association has helped put them in great positions to overcome. They share their unique stories. It's a great website to see all these awesome human interest stories, and you can kind of feel united with them, guys. And at some point, you can put your story up on there, because that's what they want to do, is share those amazing stories of Aggies who have fought through so much out there. IamTheWhy.com. I encourage you to check it out, where you can see these stories, these perspectives, and check it out. IamTheWhy.com. That is IamTheWhy.com. It's the Association of Former Students.
We once had Olin do push-ups on air for good radio. Go figure.
Are you ready?
Let's begin. TexAgs Radio with David Nuño. Weekdays on The Zone.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting half-price tuition program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Hopewell Classical Day School, Kinder Music, Happy Camper School, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Nestle Toll House Cafe by Chip, Socorro's Second Chance Resale Shop, Superior Auto Service, and the Chocolate Gallery. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
So, how are the kids?
Well, Emily made the honor roll.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, we're really proud of her. Tyler, on the other hand, though.
What's going on?
He's been moody lately, just feeling down and not like himself.
Oh, we've been there. Nick was struggling last spring. He was so anxious and stressed.
Really? What helped?
Well, he joined the soccer team. And ever since, he's been a lot happier. He has more energy, he's less stressed, and he's definitely in a better mood at home. It's made a huge difference.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad he's getting out of the house, he's getting some exercise, and he's off his phone for once. It's been good for his mental health.
Sounds like it's been good for your mental health, too.
Participating in Texas high school sports improves students' physical and mental health. Encourage your son or daughter to get involved. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
This is ESPN Radio. Newly elected Pro Football Hall of Famer, great Leroy Butler.
You still crying or the tears dried up now?
No, they'll still be flowing. To think about what I've had to go through as a child growing up African American in the inner city, single parent home, special needs kid, to be a Hall of Famer is pretty amazing.
2022 Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame finalist George Karl.
I know he wants to play with his son and be the first person to do that, and I think that's a reality.
Raheem Morris, Rams defensive coordinator.
Hey, Raheem ain't changed a bit. Don't worry about it. You're all right. You safe.
See, I couldn't wait to talk to you. When they got me the call, they said, Keyshawn, I want to talk to you. Max telling me I couldn't wait to talk to you guys.
Johnny Dawkins, UCF head coach.
Coach, can you still shoot that thing?
Absolutely.
I want to see it. We need to run that back.
I think they would have paid me more than they paid Jay Will.
Uh-oh.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
All right, we're back here, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go straight to the BCSI hotline. Buzz Williams is joining us here on the show to talk about A&M's great NIT run so far and winning 9 of 10 games. They're playing really good basketball. Buzz, welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. So let's, I guess we'll start off with what we just saw this past weekend. Was that the most complete performance you've seen this season from your team?
It would sure rank up there. I thought we played really good. I thought our spirit was right. Our energy was good. I thought we had productive minutes regardless of who it was. I thought they played to the scouting report. Our staff did a fabulous job in giving our guys just enough to kind of understand how unique Oregon was. You know, the offense is Coach Altman installed that at Creighton literally 30 years ago. A lot of layers to it. And then defensively, you know, they have zone pressure in the full court, back to zone in the half court, and then they started within the possession, changing it to man. I thought our guys were in a really good groove. Was it the best? It would be in the mix. But it was, I think they knew it too. I think they knew they were in a good groove. And when guys were subbing in and out, they wanted to hold themselves accountable to that same level of excellence. So that's always a good sign.
Hey, Coach, this is Olin Buchanan. Would you just bring us through the development of Manny Obaseki, and when did you feel like that he had made the move to where you felt like that he was a guy that could be in the starting lineup and play more?
The first thing, Olin, and I know that you and I have talked about this before, Manny grew up with the right parents and the right support people around him in regards to how he processes all of this. You know, it's really hard, in my opinion, and I know that I'm approaching old, I think it's really hard for these kids these days with all of the exposure, whether that's social media, whether that's the exposure that comes from college basketball. It's hard to stay grounded. It's hard to stay humble. It's almost impossible to stay patient. And because of who he was around as he grew up, despite his incredible talent, he's processed all of this as a freshman as well as any kid I've ever coached. He wants to be accountable for his work. He wants you to coach him. He wants you to tell him the truth. He wants to completely understand the why behind what you're doing and why you're doing it. He's been very consistent with Coach Gephardt in his volunteer time in the weight room. He's been very consistent with the assistant coaches in his volunteer time on individual workouts. He's done the same with film study. I would say he's watched as much tape as any freshman I've been around, other than one or two. Like he wants to hear it. He wants to see it. He wants to take notes about it. And so he's processed all of this the right way. And I think because of the foundation that he had upon arrival, that has really allowed him, when things were going great for him, not to get too emotional. And when things were going bad for him, not to get too emotional. When he played 0 minutes, or when he played 4 minutes, or when he starts, kind of handles it all the same. And I think that's really hard to do when you're 18 years old. I've said this to you before, and I'll continue to say it. I think he and Four are going to have a really, really good college career. And I think it's because their parents and their people that are not their parents, that have been in their circle, have made sure that as they aged and as they went through all of the different things, that they handled their business the right way. And I think that that's so important. I mean, you see it probably within what you do. Obviously, I have a different lens because I'm a coach and I see it even more often. But it's rare to find a really, really good human being surrounded by really, really good adult human beings who have been gifted with talents that are rare and who love to work and who want to be and are a great teammate. Like when you find that, it's incredibly rare, and that's what Mo and Four both are.
Buzz, I don't know if to call it an art or just I don't know what to call it, but the peaking at the end of the season, there's got to be a flow to get your team playing their best basketball at the end, especially in a tournament setting. Yeah. How do you set that up? How do you navigate through a season to be playing your best ball now?
Yeah, I think that's what you want to do, and I'm not saying that I have all of the answers. I do think the relationship our players have with our staff, I think that's very important, and I think that that's something that's hard to write an article about or hard to put in a tweet. But when your players like the people they're around, not just their peers, but when they like the people that they're around every day, that helps a lot because they want to come to work. When they don't like who they're around, now you're trying to find them, and you're trying to make sure they're on time, and you're trying to make sure they're taped and ready, and you're trying to make sure they're awake because we practice half the time early in the morning. When you don't have to do that, and they're 18 and 20 years old, and they're doing that on their own, that speaks to who they are. But I think it also speaks to the relationship they have with the people on your staff. And then I think the other thing, David, and there's a negative to this, and the negative to this is you're going to lose a game in November or December that you shouldn't lose. We spend all of September and all of October trying to figure out how to be tough. We don't install plays. We don't put in press offense. So we are always behind in non-conference on tactical things that you should be able to execute. And to rewind a little further, in April, May, June, July, and August, all we do is invest in our players. We invest in their game. We invest in their body. We invest in our relationship with them. We invest in their future life. We invest in how to help them grow personally. So every coach goes about it different. But there are about 5.5 or 6 months out of the year that we are only investing in the person and the player. We're not investing in how they help Texas A&M this particular season. So we're going to lose a game or two that we shouldn't in non-conference. But because we want to teach you how to play and how we want to play, instead of teaching you a play, we probably get that game back sometime after Valentine's Day. And I'm not saying that that's right. I'm not saying I'm good at it. I'm just saying it's that question kind of requires context in the answer because it's a year thing. Like if you ask our guys, hey, when the season's over, what are y'all going to do? We're going to figure out how to work on our game and work on our body. What are y'all going to do in the summer? We're going to keep doing that, and then coach is going to add get better lessons in there. Well, what about and so what are you going to do in September? It's going to be individuals with buzz. What is that? Yeah, I can't really explain. What are y'all going to do after that? Oh, we're going to have boot camp. What are you going to do after that? We're going to have training camp. Well, when are y'all going to, practice basketball? I don't know. You have to talk to coach because they don't know. And so in November and December, when you lose 3 games in Orlando and you're number 1, Olin was tweeting out on TexAgs, we hired the wrong guy. And you have to be willing to absorb that. You know, I kind of know that that's what it is, but it's also there's a flow and a rhythm to it. And I think that being good late is better than being good early and peaking when you get to Martin Luther King Day instead of peaking when you get to spring break.
Coach, there's no doubt that once you made some changes in the lineup, that's when y'all took off and have won, I think it's 9 of the last 10. And understanding the relationship that you have, the close relationship that you have with your players, is it at all difficult, or was it at all difficult to make those changes?
Well, I think, Olin, I think all of that is hard because if you're going to be good at anything, if you're going to be good at what you do, and David's going to be good at what he does, you do need to be humble, but you also have an ego, and you have an ego because you want to be good, and so we changed personnel, we changed who started, we changed our offense. And so I don't think that there's necessarily one person or one play. I think it was the accumulation of all of that. But I will say this, there had been multiple changes in the starting lineup as well during the 8-game losing streak. And to the defense of our guys, throughout the 8-game losing streak, the changes as they were happening, they were all saying to me, hey, Coach, we went 15-2 and 4-0 with that group. Yeah, I know, but that group, it ain't working anymore, so we got to try something else. And then it kind of becomes the Einstein quote, right? Like, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. That's insanity. Okay, well, we're not insane, so we got to continue to make changes. But I think that it also starts with the relationship, and I also think that it starts with the example of Q. Q didn't start 12 of 18 SEC conference games. And I think when you are one of the best players, if arguably not the best player, you're the oldest player, you have the most experience on the team, and you are watching kids that are starting that have never put on a uniform at Texas A&M and or maybe don't have the experience of playing at this level that you do. And you're still a great teammate through all that, and you're still supporting the coaching staff through all that. I think that cuts out a lot of drama or potential drama. And I also think this, and I'm sorry for talking so long, but I do think that it's a good point. I think that that's why when you watch us play Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, and it's our 6th game in 9 days, and you watch us play, and you're like, here goes this guy, and he only plays on out-of-bounds defense. And then the next time the horn goes off, he's coming out of the game. And nobody ever says a word. And the official, who I don't know, says to me, hey, Buzz, he just came in. I go, yeah, I know he just came in. And the next time you say it's Oregon ball out of bounds, he's going to come back in again. So you can just motion him in. And as soon as you blow the horn, the next time after the out of bounds, he's coming out. And he's like, I don't want to say what he said, but he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. That's what we're doing here. That's special teams for us, and he's the best, so he gets to play. And not only is he the best, but our players, no matter who he subs in for, they ain't saying anything because they know he's the best. And I think that's when you have a team. And that's when, hey, I do want to play because I have an ego. And when I play, I want to play good. But above that, I want Texas A&M to play good. And I have trust in my teammates and the coaching staff that if they think that that's what helps us win, then we're going to do that. And I'm going to remove my ego. That's when you know you have a team that's pulling in the right direction.
Buzz, you got some familiar faces on the Wake bench coming up. Steve Forbes, obviously, AK is going to be there as well. Just the challenges of taking on a team like Wake.
Oh, they're so good. I mean, Forbes, obviously, I'm very close to him. And if you live together for 2 years while being employed and having the same boss that we had, you are forged to have a close relationship. And obviously, since we both left here, we have maintained our relationship, and it's probably even gotten stronger. He's done an unbelievable job. They were bad during COVID. Similar to us, it was his first year. It was our second year. It was just bad, all of it. The protocols, he got COVID. It was just a mess. And then he had a seismic roster change, similar to us, and they did an incredible job in the portal. The kid from Oklahoma, JUCO kid, played very few minutes, and he's the leading scorer in the ACC this year. The big kid from Indiana State, he's on draft boards now. And then he signed several centers that are post transfers. One of the kids that played for us in our second year, I guess it would have been our third year at Virginia Tech, done a really good job. And AK, when they changed the rules on recruiting because of COVID and everybody on your staff could recruit, AK has been able to get a lot of really good experience. Know everybody on his staff, think the world of him. I know what kind of coach he is. And from a talent perspective, they started out like gangbusters in the ACC, and it's probably maybe the best year Wake has had in a long, long time.
There he is, Buzz Williams on the BCSI hotline. Coach, we appreciate you. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Buzz Williams. Real good stuff as always there. Appreciate his conversation. All right, when we come back around, Aggieland is going to be the segment of choice. We'll have Sam Kamen handling that. Right now I want to talk Heritage Films. They are great. Chance McClain's my buddy out there, and he just texted me the other day. He got himself another Aggie because Aggies love their history, guys. That's right, another Aggie. You guys are doing such first off, we all know the kind of stories that we all have, right? There's a connection that we have as Aggies. There's an origin story to our Aggie love and whatnot, and Chance does such a great job of capturing that, but really capturing your entire story, right? Your entire family story, where it all started, how it started, how you got here. That's what he does so well. He'll go to your house, he'll light it up, bring a crew out there, ask the questions, hang out all day with you. You guys will become buds by the end of it. That's a guarantee. You'll be texting each other, hello, goodbye, all the good stuff out there, and conversing after big Aggie games and whatnot. But Chance does an amazing job there with Heritage Films, and they're going to tell your biography story like A&E does, like Netflix does. All you got to do is go to yourheritagefilm.com. Yourheritagefilm.com. The phone number for Chance and Heritage Films, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. Get pre-approved today with a 5-minute loan approval. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. Join United Way of the Brazos Valley, Lions Pride Sports, and the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, at Fight to Unite this Saturday. For tickets, go online to uwbv.org. The Museum of the American GI invites you to their Living History Weekend this Saturday and Sunday. Visit AmericanGIMuseum.org for more information. The Bryan Noon Lions Club is hosting the 48th annual John and Bess Slovacek Memorial Sausage Supper fundraiser on Tuesday, March 29th from 5 to 7 in the Bryan High School Circle Drive. To purchase your tickets ahead of time, find a link online at WTAW.com. Submit your nonprofit event by email to news@WTAW.com. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual. Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
It's Larry from Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Joe is up next in Texas.
The Jimbo nonsense at LSU, you had guests on who said, oh yeah, he's going to go to LSU. He doesn't want to live under UT's thumb anymore. Well, screw UT.
I love
They're living under our thumb now.
It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Really enjoying the conversation this morning. A great weekend it was for A&M basketball and baseball as well. Buzz Williams had some good stuff to say. I didn't know you tweeted nonsense about Buzz Williams.
Never did.
He likes to pick on you.
Yeah, I did. I will admit, though, that at one point in that first year, after they'd lost to Fairfield and before they had started to finish strong, something to the effect of saying that I feel like the guy from Hoosiers that was telling Coach Dale, I'm trying real hard to believe you know what you're doing or
Right.
something like that. But he did. He proved he knew what he was doing and has proved it ever since.
I really liked his answer to, it was long, but on how to get a team to win at the end. He is more concerned with, at least the way I took it, with the process to greatness as opposed to immediate results to greatness, right?
Right.
And sometimes it is hard to see in the moment what they're working on long term, but you can see they are now peaking in a tournament environment, 2 tournaments in a row.
Yeah. Again, throw out the COVID year when they had to cancel the entire month of February.
Yep.
That's just an aberration. But since then, in his other 2 seasons here, they've been playing outstanding at the end of the year. I thought they were going to make a run 3 years ago in the SEC tournament when they called it off. And then, this year, I still think they should have been in the NCAA tournament, but they've got a, great chance to move on to New York. If they beat Wake Forest, I think they got a great chance to do that the way they're playing.
Yep, let's do this. Let's go to Around Aggieland, presented by Normandy State Bank. Normandy State Bank, rock solid banking. The website is normandystatebank.com. With that, Sam Kamen behind the glass. All right, Sam, what's going on around Aggieland?
So y'all have already touched on the basketball side, defeating Oregon, getting Wake Forest here Wednesday, 6 p.m. on ESPN2. Buzz Williams and Steve Forbes, old Texas A&M assistants under Billy Gillespie, already got into that. In the next hour, we'll get to baseball and talking to Coach Schlossnagle, getting their series victory over number 13 LSU. Here's a surprising stat for you. They had 17 hits in Game 3, only scored 6 runs, but they had double-digit hits in all those games. So the hitting was really good this past weekend in Baton Rouge. And then also another Diamond Sport, A&M softball lost to number 5 Florida. They did pick up their first SEC win on Saturday, thanks to Mackenzie Herzog's 3-hit shutout, had 15 Ks in that performance. So great start from her. They'll take on HBU Wednesday at 6 p.m. and then travel to Georgia this weekend for their three games. Women's tennis continuing their hot streak, defeating Vanderbilt and Kentucky 6-1 Friday and Sunday. They're undefeated in SEC play, 6-0. For the first time, this Aggie team has accomplished that feat since the 2013 SEC regular season championship, where they rallied 8 straight league wins. So Matiana Makarova has been the catalyst for it. She becomes the 4th Aggie in school history to earn over 100 career doubles wins. And to notch that on the individual side, she's got 92 career individual wins. So she's doing it from both the doubles and singles side. Men's tennis suffered their first SEC loss at University of Kentucky, lost to the 13th ranked Wildcats 6-1. They'll get double headers Friday and Sunday here in College Station. Prairie View A&M and number 4 Tennessee on Friday, and number 8 Georgia and UTSA Sunday. And then finally on the links, women's golf finished tied for 4th in the Mountain View Collegiate, their 6th top 5 finish this season. And then Jenny Park led the way, tied for 10th at 6 under. She's had 9 straight rounds under par and has been the tournament leader for the Aggies in 3 straight tournaments and 3 straight top 10 finishes. So great stuff all around Aggieland for Aggie sports. And I mean, this weekend, I've already looked at the schedule. It's going to be very jam-packed with so much action all around here and Aggieland, as well as across the country. So that's all I've got. What about you, David?
I don't have anything. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you, brother. Good stuff there. OB, throughout the show, we want to sprinkle in some Quentin Jackson sound bites. Billy had him on our stacked interview stuff. He was great. I mean, maybe one of our best we've done. Billy was nails on it, as was Q. So we'll play some of that throughout the show. We got Schloss coming up. We've got Billy coming up. We've got Mike Lucas coming up. We're going to be busy throughout the show. Thank you, sir.
Bet.
That's OB with Go Hour. When we come back, Jim Schlossnagle, Bronny will be here for that interview. All that and more You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
We're here with Jason Rollo of Rollo Insurance. Jason, when we say the difference is real, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, when we use the term real, we're speaking about being genuine. And I think that anyone who does something in a good way has to be genuine. But also when I think about the term real, I think about rates, education, assets, and life. Many people think that insurance is about rates. Although that's important, it's actually about education of what you're buying to protect your assets, and we want to do that for the life of the client.
For more information, go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs.
So what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Questions, comments, or opinions about anything and everything and all things The Zone. Send your emails to Louie@BryanBroadcasting.com. That's Louie@BryanBroadcasting.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. College Station police responding to a disturbance in the food court at the mall last Thursday night results in a 16-year-old being arrested on multiple charges. CSPD officer Tristan Lopez tells WTAW News there was a fight after the 16-year-old verbally assaulted a 17-year-old. The 16-year-old was taken to juvenile detention after she was arrested for headbutting and kicking an officer, threatening to assault the officer's spouse, and resisting arrest. Both teens were ticketed for disorderly conduct fighting. Around 6,000 Bryan voters will be getting new voter registration cards soon.
I know that the city of Bryan was very adamant that they wanted to be sure their redistricting was completed in time to be able to have the members that would be in single-member District 4 to be able to vote for that place.
Elections Administrator Trudy Hancock says in addition to the May special election in the Bryan Council's single-member District 4, the new cards also reflect the latest annexations approved by the Bryan Council. The Republican leader of the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee is the incoming congressman who will represent Brazos County if he's reelected. Michael McCall of Austin says he supports the decision by the U.S. and NATO not to enact a no-fly zone that would involve shooting down Russian fighter jets.
If we can give Zelensky the tools and the weapons he needs to create a no-fly zone, and that's what we're doing right now, to me, I think that's the better path.
McCall, speaking on Fox Business, says he's worried that Russia could start using chemical weapons in Ukraine. The iconic look of the front of College Station ISD's Southwood Valley Elementary School is going away. This month's CSISD school board meeting included a more than $3 million construction contract that includes removing 40-year-old concrete tube windows. It's part of a Phase 1 renovation to create more office space. Best of the Brazos Valley celebrates businesses and organizations in more than 130 categories. Nominations can be made online at bestofthebrazos.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
When your diesel truck or construction equipment needs DEF, WPI has the best price in town. Only $8.50 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings to teeth, buckets and blades. Any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 east at Marina Road, or click WPI.com.
Who do you think is the best? Nominations are now open for the 22nd year of the Best of the Brazos Valley. Go to bestofthebrazosvalley.com and submit your nominations for the best in dining, entertainment, service, retail, automotive, health, and wellness, and everything in between. If you think it's the best, make sure it's on the Best of the Brazos ballot. After 22 years and hundreds of thousands of votes, this is the one that counts. Nominate now at bestofthebrazos.com.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M baseball's bid for a sweep over 13th-ranked LSU came up short yesterday, 7-6. With the loss, the Aggies fall to 12-7 overall and 2-1 in SEC play. Softball dropped its rubber game against 5th-ranked Florida, 11-3. Haley Lee smacked her 6th homer of the year for A&M, which falls to 17-10 overall and 1-5 in conference. Aggie men's basketball will host Wake Forest Wednesday night for the NIT quarterfinals. The guys blew past Oregon Saturday afternoon, 75-60. Coach Buzz Williams gives some of the credit to the team's new look offense.
When we lost at Auburn, there were 6 games to go in the regular season, I believe. And that's when we changed offensively.
Mo and Boots being Manny Obaseki and Tyrese Radford. The guys will look to keep the good times rolling Wednesday when they host Wake for a 6 p.m. tip at Reed. Broadcast is on 1620, 94.5 WTAW. 19th-ranked Aggie women's golf tied for 4th at the Mountain View Collegiate yesterday, locking up their 6th top 5 finish of the season. Jenny Park led the way individually, finishing in a tie for 10th. And 12th-ranked women's tennis had no problem with Kentucky 6-1. Meanwhile, the 22nd-ranked guys fell to the number 13 Wildcats 6-1. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On the Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
You can listen to Aggie football, basketball, and baseball on your Amazon Dot or Echo. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Step 2, anytime you want to hear fighting Texas Aggie football, Texas A&M women's basketball, or Aggie baseball, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. It's that simple to listen to your favorite A&M teams that play on the Zone with your Amazon Dot or Echo. Make sure to say one time, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then say, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
You need cooling, baby, I'm not fooling. I'm gonna sit yeah.
All right, let's get right back into it. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Bronny in studio with me, but we're going to go straight to the BCSI hotline. Jim Schlossnagle joining us after a great series win against LSU this past weekend. Coach Schlossnagle, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. So just let's talk about it. The series win, tough environment, everything you guys have dealt with this year to come away and just come away with 2 of 3. Your thoughts here on a Monday morning?
Yeah, well, certainly if you'd told me that going into the weekend, I would have signed up for that. When you win the first 2 and have the third game within your grips, you know, you get greedy and want to win them all. I'm sure we'll look back on that and wish we, well, I know I look back on it this morning and wish we pulled it off. But no, guys competed well. About 2 weeks ago, we had a little conversation about competitive grit and team spirit and just overall general more toughness. And we showed that every inning of every game out there. We did everything wasn't perfect, but competed well at the plate, pitched enough, I guess, when we had to, and just, you know, the environment there is everything that's great about college baseball. And, you know, I'm hoping we can bring some of that back and hoping the 12th man will bring that out for us this weekend against Auburn.
Coach, how much of it was toughness, and was there any mechanical stuff that y'all did with 2 strikes that y'all talked about throughout the week, or was it just the toughness talk and the kids buying in? Because it was 180 degrees different than it had been.
Yeah, I think. Well, number one, I think there was, I think Ty Hodge and Austin Strachner are going to be really good players for us moving forward. But at the same time, the depth of our lineup was so much, when Targach was able to play and Boast, being able to get Boast in the lineup, he came to me early last week and said, Coach, I played the infield in junior college. I can play second base. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but he's such a competitive guy. So that's the first thing. You have more depth in the lineup, more experienced players. That's the first thing. And then I think, we had a really, when you're playing the SEC teams, there's way more information on their team than when you play the non-league teams and all the analytical stuff. Of course, there's the same stuff on us. But Mike Early did an awesome job. We had a great game plan for every pitcher that they had. But at the end of the day, it was about just winning pitches and really playing the game one pitch at a time. And that's what I said to the team at the end of the game yesterday is yes, in the short term, we did some things poorly yesterday, but in the long term, this past weekend has to be the minimum standard of competitiveness and grit at the plate. And, I coached in South Louisiana for a long time and had some friends there. And even Coach Burtman said, man, your offense, the way they fight, your every single at bat is relentless. And I mean, what better compliment could you have said about your team? And so, maybe, I don't know, Bronny, maybe this is what we'll see going forward. I knew we were a better offensive club than we were showing. But we'll find out. We can't let it be a one weekend wonder. That's for sure.
Did you get a sense in the dugout, maybe on Friday night, that the kids, like, something had changed mentality wise? Because, people say hitting is contagious, but I don't know that it's hitting is contagious. I think that approach and that plan becomes contagious because you see the guys ahead of you do it, and it starts to build like a vibe in the dugout and in the clubhouse. Did you see that start to change Friday night? Yeah, no doubt. No question. And I think a lot of that is being on the road in that environment. You definitely feel like it's you against the world. It gets so loud, and then I told them beforehand, the best sound is when you're on the road in a place like that, and it gets real quiet, and all you can hear is your own team cheering. So it was a fun dugout to be a part of, and we just have to continue it, and that's what has to happen. But the bottom line.
Schloss, any victory is huge, obviously, especially in SEC play, but the fact that you guys were able to grind out victories late, what does that mean, you think, for this team long-term, who had struggled late in games?
Yeah, awesome. We still didn't pitch. I've never doubted our desire to win. It's just really the depth of our bullpen. We have to, and that's going to start tomorrow night. I'm going to have to make some. Christian Curtis is going to start the game, but I'm not sure. We're going to have a different plan going forward. We got to get more. We have to have a right-handed pitcher other than Cortez that can come out of that bullpen and get some people out in conference play. Does that mean we have to sacrifice some things during the week? I don't know, but we're going to have to start trying some other guys out because we can't keep relying on the same people. But in terms of what you're saying, to score runs in the top of the ninth inning on the road in this conference or in any conference is awesome. And it definitely, the old saying, confidence comes from doing it. So if you've never done it, it's hard to have confidence in it. And so to score a couple runs on Friday and then 4 on Saturday, I think it was, that's a really good thing moving forward for the rest of the year.
Moo Menifee, I mean, this kid, one of the best, most fun kids to be around on the team, and a guy that everybody pulls for. But, his performance and for his confidence, he needed to go out there and do that. And you ran him out there in a tight spot. And that's the Moo that everybody has come to know around these parts. And just, talk about his resilience and that bounce back performance.
He's just such an awesome guy, man. And I said this before the season, there's a lot of them on this team that I wish everybody out there listening or whatever, reading the message boards or whatever they do, could just spend 10 minutes with some of these guys. And Moo is he's such a great soul. He's got a great heart. He's super competitive. Being an Aggie and doing well means so much to him that sometimes he's an over-trier, right? And so when I brought him in the game, I said, listen, man, you don't just execute pitches. You don't have to give me 110%. Just give me 100% of whatever you got, right? And so I was just so happy to see him have success. When you bring him in the game, when you bring Palish in the game, those two guys in particular, they're different personalities, but you can walk back to the dugout knowing that they're not afraid, right? And they're going to give you the best effort. It may not always work out, but you can trust them. And so he pitched awesome against a really tough lineup. Having Dylan Cruz and Jacob Berry sitting right in the middle of that thing, that's as scary as it gets in college baseball back to back. And he did great.
Coach, when you get done with the weekend, and I know you'll probably deflect this, but you got some stuff right as managerial decisions. You made some really key ones. 4 outfielders against Jacob Berry, going to Robert Hogan when you did. Was it something that it feels to me when I was watching, it's like, man, everybody's kind of feeding off of each other. When you make those moves and they work out, it helps that dugout vibe and momentum as well, right?
Yeah. I learned a long time ago, just because you make a move and it works doesn't mean it was if it didn't work, doesn't mean it was the wrong move, right? I did the same thing. I think that was actually against Cruz on Saturday when I did that, and then I did it against Barry yesterday, and of course the guy hit the ground ball right where Boast would have been standing. Barry's a little bit he's a heady guy, and I probably shouldn't have done that with 2 strikes, but I only did it to Cruz because it was a 3-1 count, and I was like, if you want to hit a ground ball to second base with 2 outs for a single, have at it, but I don't want you to get an extra base hit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when that happened, and then the very next pitch or the pitch right after, the guy hit the liner right to Boast where he didn't even have to take a step to catch it. Everybody was just dying laughing in the dugout and fired up. So yeah, it was who knows what the season's going to look like, but we grew as a team this weekend, just being together in that environment. Obviously the success helps. But I can tell you, it was a championship dugout to be a part of.
Schloss, in postgame, you said you learned a lot about your team. What can you share with us that you did learn about this team this weekend?
Just exactly what I said earlier, that they do have it in them to be a grittier bunch, to fight with 2 strikes, to pull for each other. And I'm not saying they weren't doing those things prior to this weekend, but I'm not quite sure there was complete and total buy-in. When you see a guy like Logan Britt had as good a weekend as anybody on this team offensively. I think he may have only had 2 or 3 hits to show for it, but he was staying on baseballs. He was laying off balls down. He was getting his swing off in hitters' counts. If he took a bad swing, he was moving on to the next pitch. All of these things that, we've just been trying to get across to everybody, and they executed it. And so, and they had some good things to show for it. So let's see. Let's don't go crazy over one weekend, and we know what this league and college baseball is about. But I just learned that they're fully capable of being a competitive team in this conference. We have to pitch better. I don't think any starter made it to the fifth inning. I don't think maybe in the 6th, but we have to get better pitching overall. But then and you look at the defense. Bo's coming in and playing a solid second base. Cargo making some plays. That's not necessarily his best position. If we can get Werner back in the next, 10 days, 2 weeks, then we'll take our chances. I like our team.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Trevor. So you're optimistic with 10 days there, and then an update on Kalai.
Kalai, that's just a waiting game. So we're probably another 3 weeks of just pure waiting with that, and then he'll at the 4 or 5 week mark he'll get they'll retest him and see make sure that stress reaction is either gone away or whatever, and then slowly come back. Werner will get his stitches out tomorrow. He's been doing everything. He's been running bases. He's been throwing. He actually fielded some ground balls yesterday, taped it up, and put a glove on for the first time. So once the stitches come out, which is Wednesday, then it's purely about developing strength back in that hand and just being able to handle the discomfort of it. So I'm going to be optimistic and say this weekend he could potentially maybe play defense if we needed him to, or run the bases, and then maybe one more week or two before he could swing a bat.
It's a big update, sir. Thank you so much. Congratulations on a big weekend. We'll talk to you here on Thursday.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. You guys have a great day. Gig 'em.
Gig 'em. There he is, Jim Schlossnagle here on the show on the BCSI hotline. Appreciate his time. We'll have one more segment with Bronny. Then Billy will be here. We'll chat with Billy about all things right now, Milliken Reserve, Farm to Table Community in College Station. Homes, trails, wide open spaces. I know they had a big ultra marathon there this weekend. People were just out there grinding through that beautiful landscape. It's a very healthy community there, and they want to put it around nature so you can be a part of the beauty that is. They've got a healthy community. They love to be dedicated to the conservation, respect that native landscape and that wildlife. And again, they are huge. 2,600 acres of open space, farms, 30 miles of trails, and homes. They want to connect families with nature and to each other. And when you go there, either to live or just to hang out, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel that connection with nature. You're going to feel that connection with your family. They've got it all out there. They like to preserve the woods, the ponds, the creeks. They've got white-tailed deer out there, the songbirds, the rabbits, and the turtles out there. And it's a great place for generation after generation to cherish and be together. What you should do there is go to the hiking, the biking, the canoeing, the kayaking, the equestrian trails, the evening yoga, the summer camps, the music festivals, and the farmer market tours. It is MillikenReserve.com, MillikenReserve.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. With an easy refinance, save over $350 a month. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. You're invited to the Second Wave Revolutionary Women of Color. The two-day event at Texas A&M is this Thursday and Friday. Find more information at tx.ag/Second Wave Conference. The United Way of the Brazos Valley's Youth Leadership Cabinet has opened applications for the Community Builders Grant. Applications are due by Friday. To apply, go online to uwbv.org. The Brazos County Master Gardener Spring Plant Sale is this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Brazos County Extension Office. Bring your wagon and load up. Join the Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History on Saturday, April 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for Wildflower Day at Boonville Heritage Park. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Hippity hop to the George Bush Presidential Library and Museum on Saturday, April 9th for the annual Easter celebration. The event will begin at 9:30 a.m. and include an Easter egg hunt, egg roll, egg toss, carnival games, face painting, kite flying, door prizes, balloon animals, complimentary refreshments, and photos with the Easter Bunny. The free event will be available for children age 7 and under. For more information, visit bush41.org.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Nestle Toll House Cafe by Chip, Socorro's Second Chance Resale Shop, Superior Auto Service, and the Chocolate Gallery. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors. Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Zwerneman Flooring, The Sleep Station, and Twin Peaks. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Did you get left out? Did you forget to register in time? Did you forget to play Zone Madness presented by Aggieland Green? Are you currently playing, but your brackets are busted? We, Zone Madness presented by Aggieland Green, we have a second chance bracket contest. Anybody can play. Go now to zone1150.com. Get the healthy lawn you deserve, guaranteed. Call the pros at Aggieland Green because it's more than just a lawn. It's Zone Madness second chance brackets. Play now at zone1150.com.
we're built for it, but at the same time, it's taxing on your body playing 5 games in 6 days, if I'm being honest. 5 games in 6 days. Mm-hmm. It's really taxing, especially when you're going up against, we're not playing just Division twos. No disrespect to Division twos, but we're not playing light games. We're playing against top-ranked teams, and it's physically taxing on the body. So having this time in between allows your body to recuperate. I think it's a plus for us. It allows us to play harder, more energy.
All right, that's Quentin Jackson there. We did that interview. Billy did that interview on Stacked on Friday. Go become a premium member and also go become a Stacked. Get a part of Stacked, and you can help out with those interviews. Quentin Jackson, who's been bringing it. It is TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Bronny here with us for another segment before Billy joins us. So biggest takeaways, not only from the weekend, but from what just Schloss dropped us.
Well, it was funny, Quentin Jackson up there, you talk about competitive spirit, and that's kind of what the overarching theme was for the A&M baseball team. Quentin Jackson's had it in buckets all year, right. But, yeah, that's the biggest thing, man, was the weekend is described as toughness, grit, competitive spirit, however coaches want to phrase it. That's what you saw out of the A&M baseball team, and it is contagious. When the guy in front of me has a really good at bat and doesn't give in with 2 strikes and battles, then I feel a responsibility on myself to do it. And then the guy behind me, like, it just passes itself on. And it becomes like maybe this is what this team needed, was a trip to Baton Rouge in hostile territory.
Yep.
And you got to fight and you got to claw and you're only there together, and you're not going home to your own bed. You're going to stay with your teammates in a hotel room and just being around each other, and your teammates are all you've got. And the competitive fight and the spirit of the team throughout the weekend was by far the biggest takeaway. You don't have to look at any of the baseball stuff. Like, what did they do with 2 strikes? Did they stayed on balls better? Austin Boast playing defense. Like, all that stuff is fine, but it comes down to the mentality and the way they competed, and that was it. Like, that won the weekend. That's the overarching theme of the weekend. And then, like, Schloss pressing the right buttons. I knew he wasn't going to take credit for it, but, man, some of the stuff that he did, even if it just messes with hitters, the way you shift, putting 4 outfielders, moving 3 infielders to one side, like, it can mess with guys' minds that have never seen it before. The decisions he made to bring guys in out of the bullpen, they all worked. Robert Hogan come in on a 1-2 count.
Yeah.
Ended up getting a strikeout in the 8th inning of the Saturday game. It just, he pushed all the right buttons. The team found something that maybe they didn't know they had, and something that they can grab onto. Because that toughness and that grit, David, it travels. It goes and plays everywhere, right? Like, that kind of stuff shouldn't slump. Like, this is who we are now. We found something. Let's grab a hold of it. Let's not go back to the old way. Sure, you're going to have games where you struggle to put the ball in play. You see a really good arm, all that kind of stuff. But the overall competitive spirit doesn't need to change. If they compete at that level like they did this weekend, I think they can win more SEC games than they lose.
Were there signs that this was brewing? Because you look back at the U of H game, obviously it didn't go as well, but really this team has been really good up until the 7th inning.
Yeah, I mean, what are we talking about? If they're better after the 7th inning, 2 or 3 more wins probably going into the conference. But I don't know, like, did it all work out the way it was supposed to work out? Did they struggle so much early that they needed something like this road trip? If they're 14-2 going into the weekend, or 13-3, is their mentality still like it was, where they were just kind of skating by with just more talent than the teams they were playing? Or did all those struggles and all the post-game conversations amongst the staff and the players, was that all necessary for them to get out of themselves what they got this past weekend? It's hard to say. Baseball's a funny game, man, but I can promise you this, having been around it as long as I have, understanding what Coach is saying when he's talking about being a competitor, grinding, just fighting with 2 strikes at the plate, that kind of stuff, once you see it and once it happens, you can take off from there. Because everybody, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, that guy's doing it. I'm going to do it like that guy. The guy behind me is going to do it that way. It can really grow on itself. So there's reason for optimism now, obviously with the results, but how the results came and the way the games were played were more important than the results. It takes a while for a culture to set in, man. Like, this wasn't going to be some overnight sprinkle pixie dust on it and A&M's in Omaha just because Jim Schlossnagle was here. It don't happen that way. This league's too good for it to happen that way. But there's reason to believe that this was a step in the right direction for the program.
Dylan Rock, he has been huge for them. He was huge again this weekend.
That's what he did in the fall. That's what he did in the preseason leading up to the game starting. That's what he did his entire career at UTSA. The kid's always hit. So he scuffled to start the year, and he's probably never scuffled before as a collegiate player. And you scuffle at a new school that's a level up from where you played, and you're going, can I even do it here?
All right.
So like, with that kind of stuff, it's just, even guys that are that experienced, baseball's such a mental game that it can mess with your confidence. When a guy's got, I don't know how many collegiate hits he had coming into A&M, but he's got a bunch of them, and not getting hits here at a new school at a bigger place, and you can still have confidence issues. But now I think those were well taken care of in Baton Rouge.
So he dropped to us that, maybe Trevor Warner could play some defense at the end of the week, potentially, if they needed to.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean about how quickly he's coming back and what his stick could mean to this lineup?
Man, I don't know about hitting that quick. Man, that'd be the quickest hamate recovery I've ever seen. And look, the last time that I was involved with somebody that had a hamate bone injury was when I was playing, so it was a long time ago, especially in terms of the medical field and the advancements they make there. They could be doing that surgery completely different than they used to do it 10 years ago and cut the recovery time in half. It is a structural thing. So once that, the bone was fixed, and I guess it's just got to take hold. It's a structural bone issue. And then there's probably going to be a little bit of discomfort, as like Coach Schlossnagle said, about getting the glove on and off and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, what are we looking at here? So they got Auburn this weekend, and they go to Alabama, and then they got Kentucky coming here, right?
Yep.
I mean, if he's hitting by that Kentucky series, I think the A&M fan base and the coaching staff should be pretty ecstatic and pretty excited. If he's playing defense and running bases, that's the problem. Is like, if you can only play defense or run bases, you only use him probably in the last inning or maybe 2 innings in a game. And look, that could help. But A&M's played pretty good defense, man. So it's not like you got to rush him back because you need him so badly on defense.
Right.
You want to make sure he's healthy, right? Because he had the oblique, sat, came back, and then immediately injured himself. Like, you want to make sure he's fully fit, ready to go when he gets out there, because he's going to be so chomping at the bit that he's not going to have any kind of breaks on himself. Like, he's going to be ready to go. And I'm sure if you gave him a bat, he'd try to figure out how to hit with it right off of that surgery. So I think the plan is, can you get to Kentucky? What if they got to the Kentucky series, David, and they're above 500 in the SEC, and you've got Werner coming back? What a coaching job that would be.
To navigate through that.
Yep.
Where your team really didn't have an offensive identity early on without Trevor Warner. I mean,
right.
and to get him back, navigate through that. And as you mentioned, part of their schedule, they got Rice tomorrow, Auburn series, Texas, then Alabama, and as you mentioned, Kentucky here that April 7th weekend.
The schedule is manageable in terms of conference through the first half of it. Those non-conference games, Rice is down, but Texas and Texas State, the next 2 midweeks after that, obviously Texas been number one. They're in the top 5 in the country. Texas State in the top 25, having their best year in a long, long time. So these midweek games coming up are nothing to sneeze at. And because your non-conference record going into conference play probably wasn't what it needed to be, you're going to have to pick up some midweek wins. And you're going to have to win series in the SEC on the road. When you're looking at postseason stuff, and Coach Schlossnagle even said it, like, yeah, you won 2 out of 3 in Baton Rouge. But, man, you're right there in Game 3 with a chance to sweep them at their own place to kick off the conference season. And you may be looking at that last Sunday when it comes tournament time and tournament selection time going, man, it would be nice to have that one back.
Yeah, yep. That's Bronny. Thank you, Bronny. We'll see you on
thank you.
Wednesday, sir. Coming up next, Billy Lucci will be around. We'll have him on the show. We'll go for a full hour with Billy on a Monday. After that, Mike Lucas will be in studio. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
It's like when they replaced Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince. David Nuño on TexAgs Radio, weekdays on The Zone.
You know us through the Aggie Ring and our work helping current and former students. You also know that we work to uphold our traditions and help bring Aggies together around the world. We are the Association of Former Students, and it's our mission to provide resources, support programs, and cultivate the experiences that you know and love. But have you ever stopped and wondered why? Why does the association support Texas A&M and Texas Aggies? Why are we always here, there, and everywhere for the Aggie Network? Why do we tirelessly work to ensure that the Aggie experience is both unforgettable and life-changing? Well, you may be surprised to learn that the answer to why is as unique as your own Aggie story. That's why we created IamTheWhy.com, a place for shared Aggie stories and unique perspectives. It's where you can hear the why, see the why, and discover why Aggies like you are the why. Visit IamTheWhy.com today.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases and pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Here at The Zone, we like to hook you up with tickets to all the places that you want to be. And it can be Aggie football, basketball, baseball, Schlitterbahn, or maybe seeing your favorite bands in concert. It's Chili Fest time of the year. And if you'd like to win a pair of tickets to go to both nights of Chili Fest, the Randy Rogers Band, Co Wetzel, and so much more, go register now at Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. If you'd like to win a pair of tickets to Chili Fest, go register now at Gage Gandy Bail Bonds.
We are TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate you guys listening in, watching, however you're consuming this awesome content. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can call us up on the BCSI hotline. Billy will be with us here momentarily, 979-693-1150. You can also text us on the AMB text line, 979-693-1150. I do want to run a clip from Quentin Jackson here on the stacked part of TexAgs.com, how this team, very similar to what we saw from the baseball team this weekend, learning how to win. But this team is learning how to win not only at the end of games, but learning how to win at the end of the season, which we've seen now in successive tournaments and also at the end of regular season play there of the SEC. Here's Billy with Quentin Jackson's program.
Just the will to win and the will to compete by the guys that will be here.
Yeah.
I think, not to put this on myself, but I think that I've done a good job being the example on this team as far as my work ethic and things like that, and how I approach the game and how I attack everything, my mentality. I think that the new guys that have came in, they have seen that and they have bought into it, and I think that them being able to grow from that and over the summer, all the work that they're going to put in over the summer, and to see where they're going to be at next year, it's going to be crazy. Like, Wade, outstanding upside, great point guard, fast, can score. Boots, 6'2", rebounder.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Yeah.
He a dog. Hassan, you know him. That's Mr. Clutch.
He's from my neck of the woods too, so you know.
Mr. Clutch, he didn't saved us a couple times. Saved us a couple times. Henry, beast. JB, beast. Cash, beast. Everybody on this team is just a beast. And I don't know who we're recruiting right now. I haven't really looked into it or anything like that, but I'm just excited to see how this team turns out next year.
All right, there he is, Q Jackson on Stacked here on TexAgs.com. Billy's in studio with us. What a great interview, man.
Yeah, that was fun. I knew it was going to be good as soon as he walked in. Really, even when we were texting, he was excited about it. And we had talked on the phone, and I could tell we were going to have a great interview, and it was even better than I thought. I mean, it was probably my favorite one so far in terms of just a one-off sit down. I just love talk. I love that
his personality.
Team. I love the fact they went out and won the next day. The whole thing was really good.
Yeah, no, it was great. And that performance that they put together. By the way, that shirt he was wearing, that Tupac shirt, really appreciated that shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. That's from our era.
That is our era.
Nuño, I dropped a little music knowledge on you the other day that you weren't expecting, didn't I?
Oh, when you dropped, what was it, Gangster of Love, Ghetto Boys? You did, yeah.
You didn't know about that.
I mean,
Kathleen Johnson.
I'm not surprised that you know it because you did grow up in the same, not only the same era, right down the road from where I
we were
grew
in
up.
the same neighborhood, basically.
So, like, the same kind of people.
A little younger. You were a little younger.
A couple years. But, what did you make of the game Saturday where they brought it on every level? Like, the only time that they didn't bring it was the first three-point shot by Oregon. Other than that, it was
tell you what I gathered from not only Saturday, but this whole weekend of watching college basketball. Texas A&M would still be playing. And, look, there are better teams than A&M that are not playing anymore. So we get that anything can happen. And look at Virginia Tech. They rolled in there. You never know what a few days off can do. And the way A&M played against Alcorn State, you're like, well, they would have been eliminated. Well, I say they wouldn't have been playing. Maybe they would have. Playing on Tuesday or Wednesday night. That would have been the tough one for the Aggies. If they would have had to do that play-in after all those games. But had they gotten through that, if they would have been placed in it, which I still don't think they should have even been in that, but had they been placed out of it, I think A&M would still be playing. I think they would be a Sweet 16 basketball team the way they're playing right now. And again, we know upsets happen there. Look at Baylor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one example. Look at Kentucky. I get all that. But this team, I just believed it beforehand. And after watching this weekend's tournament, and after watching A&M just dispatch of Oregon, and if you went to that game, you saw that Oregon team was really talented. I don't know about their shooting. Obviously, they didn't shoot well out there, but I don't know. They didn't look like a bunch of shooters, but athletically and length, and you can tell Altman and what they're doing up that's some high-level recruiting that goes on in Eugene. That's a lot of Nike money being thrown around. That's a lot of Nike farm system guys up there, and they look the part. They certainly. And by the way, I was really impressed with Deuce Harmon's brother.
Oh yeah.
He was nice. But A&M just put their foot on them early and never let up. And that was the Aggie team that we saw in the SEC tournament. I mean, Nuño, if you think about it, in their last 5 games. They're 4-1, and we could go back further and whatever and won. But I'm saying not Alcorn. Throw out Alcorn. In their last 5 against real teams, they beaten Florida where they were all over them for 55 minutes, beating them by 20. They beat Auburn. They were up by 20 with 7-8 minutes left in that one. Essentially, outclassed them wire to wire.
Yeah.
Then they did the same thing to an Arkansas team that's still playing, beat them by 18 or whatever it was, and then lost to Tennessee, 4th game in 4 days, and then just throttled Oregon. They've really throttled, save for a couple of wild-ass runs fueled by guys that are just hitting unconscious shots in Florida and Auburn. But for 40 minutes, significantly outplayed Florida, Auburn, Arkansas, and now Oregon. That game the other day was played like I'm watching those two teams. I go, those are like tournament-level athletes, and A&M certainly looks like an NCAA tournament-level team, and hopefully they can ride this thing one more game. I'm saying 3 more, but 1 more to get to New York because, like Q and I talked about, and I just think this team deserves the chance to go make that road trip, be a part of like their own Final Four, and hopefully cut some nets down. And we mentioned teams and stuff and winning and carrying that over and taking that next step. And if the Aggies can win a few more games, they can win 3 more games here. There's no way you can tell me, and I heard you talk about it, that's not going to make this basketball program and these individual players so much better equipped for next season, and just to give them a real taste of like what they really want out of the 2022-2023 season.
And for me, you look at what Q means to this program, and he means so much. But I have liked the emergence of the rest of the team. The Manny Obasakis, Wade has always shown glimpses, but they're like zeroing in.
Yeah, Manny was great. Manny was great.
Yeah,
that was good to see.
Boots. I mean, just name it. It was for a while. Who's the guy? Then it was all right. We got Q. Then it was Q and Boots.
Yep.
And now I feel like you're getting contributions throughout.
And credit Q and Coleman too, because Henry at the beginning of the year when they really need he was kind of bailing them out sometimes early in the year, and then got a little more quiet, and then here he is in the last 3-4 weeks or so. He's a menace down there in the paint. But yeah, Hefner is another guy.
Yeah.
Like these guys are just they've all kind of found their identity on the team, and then and some of the guys are just kind of peaking. They really are at the right time, and that's why I believe they would still be going. And gosh, in this tournament, it just sucks. It sucks because you see this team play, and you watch them play Saturday against Oregon, and you go, what could they have done in which bracket? You look at some of these brackets, and you go, like, for example, like Texas beat a good Virginia Tech team. They take Purdue down to the wire. Had they beat Purdue, they're playing St. Peter's to go to the Elite Eight. Nothing against St. Peter's, but you're playing a 15 seed to go to the Elite Eight. You never know when I saw the deal the other day with U of H. I was shocked to see this because I feel like under Kelvin Sampson, they've been really good. And they said that was the first time U of H beat a single-digit seed in the NCAA tournament.
I saw that
since
too.
like Phi Slamma Jamma, and I'm like, is that real? But I do go back to last year when they went to the Final Four.
They got some
they had a complete cakewalk in there, and I remember some of Baylor's early Elite Eights, complete cakewalks. But no, I watch U of H play too, and I'm like, I think U of H plays some of the best defense in college basketball, but I also think Texas A&M most times out plays a style of defense that just frustrates and flusters and brings teams down offensively, kind of like that formula that the Cougars have going. And Texas Tech, teams like that, they'll just grind you.
So I looked up Houston's run last year because to me, I'm thinking they made it to the Final Four. How is it they didn't? They beat a 15 seed in Cleveland State.
They were a 2, okay.
They were 2 seed. They beat a 10 seed at Rutgers 63-60. That was a close game.
Yep.
They beat an 11 seed Syracuse 62-46, and then they beat a 12 seed Oregon State. So it did map out perfectly for them. This year it's kind of the reverse.
By the way, sorry, but you said they beat a 12 seed Oregon State. That team was what a lot of, like, not a lot, but I talked to a couple of basketball people that said, remember Oregon State last year, who A&M just drubbed this year. Oregon State was bad. That team wasn't, it was kind of like A&M. No one even thought of them last year. They eked their way into the tournament as a 12 seed and went all the way to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
It's doable, and I think this team could have done it. Now, let's see what they can do in the NIT. I like the fact that they're playing, some name programs here. power conference programs. You go play Oregon out of the Pac-12. You're playing Wake Forest now out of the ACC, and who knows what's ahead if they're able to get to New York. But there's a couple. I think OU still left. Who's
Vandy.
In Vandy.
Yeah,
Vandy. That would be an interesting one. That was another hot SEC team down the stretch. But yeah, you'd love to see them run to an NIT title and beat, Oregon, Wake Forest, OU, whoever else to get there.
There's a lot of teams left. By the way, they just came out with the football schedule this week. Spring practice later on this afternoon, but tomorrow is pro day, so we'll be all over.
And that's going to be an indoor practice clearly today.
Yeah, today is terrible out there. But
I'm sure Jimbo's like, gosh, all you want is nice weather coming out of spring break, have a good first day back, and I always feel like the indoor just kind of but the rest of the week looks really nice.
Hey, one final thing, at least for this segment on basketball-wise.
You're welcome, Shell Winkley. I just did the weather for you. You and Max Crawford. Our
You're
friends
done.
At KBTX. After a rough, rocky weather pattern today coming through, some severe storms this evening, then the rest of the week looks lovely. Get out and enjoy the early parts of spring.
I would love to see you do that with a green screen.
Spring is in the air in Aggieland.
And point. You think you'd be able to find it without it actually being there?
Spring is in the air. We have a front coming through this afternoon. Some scattered showers this morning that could lower could really take some bite out of these severe storms this evening. But still, if you see that hatched area, that is a high risk for severe weather, large damaging hail.
It's very good.
Get your cars inside, cover your plants, get those pets inside this evening.
You've done this before, my friend. All right, when we come back, I do want to talk a little bit recruiting with Billy.
We've put Tomas to sleep. Look at him.
He falls asleep on the show all the time.
As long as he's not asleep on air, I don't care.
It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. Get pre-approved today with a 5-minute loan approval. NMLS 1309378, equal housing opportunity. Join United Way of the Brazos Valley, Lions Pride Sports, and the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, at Fight to Unite this Saturday. For tickets, go online to uwbv.org. The Museum of the American GI invites you to their Living History Weekend this Saturday and Sunday. Visit AmericanGIMuseum.org for more information. The Bryan Noon Lions Club is hosting the 48th annual John and Bess Slovacek Memorial Sausage Supper fundraiser on Tuesday, March 29th from 5 to 7 in the Bryan High School Circle Drive. To purchase your tickets ahead of time, find a link online at WTAW.com. Submit your nonprofit event by email to news@WTAW.com. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
We're out of the brand name, but we do have the generic version of
Serene's Pharmacy can't keep up with allergy season.
Who's next in line?
They need certified technicians to alleviate the headache.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry for the wait. We'll have your prescription filled soon. I need some help.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family.
Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the Jed Foundation.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Would it be in Baker's best interest to go somewhere else in which he really has no say in where he can go, Key? Or do you want to say, you know what? I know this relationship isn't repairable. Let me do what I need to do just this 1 year, and then say, you know what, deuces, I'm out. But at least my resume has changed because I have a year of balling out.
Key, Jay, and Max.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate you guys watching or listening in. You can watch us on TexAgs.com, the YouTube channel, of course, and you can hear us on the Zone, unless you're listening to us on Spotify or however you get your podcast. Billy's with us here for the next 45. Billy, Eli Holstein,